what we're tracking in the bulletin. Jharkhand super rich Babu busted. Pooja Singhal has now been arrested. That's the breaking news coming in. We're shifting our focus now to the arrest of Pooja Singhal coming in. The Jharkhand IAS officer who was being probed by the Enforcement Directorate. Despite the charges against her, she held top posts and now she has been taken into custody. Priyank on the phone line with us. Priyank, she was under radar of the Enforcement Directorate, massive properties that had come under the ED lens as well, and now she has been arrested. What more details do we have?
And for that, we were also expecting some kind of statement to come out from the cabinet meeting, which is happening at this in Jharkhand. On one side, Pooja Singhal was being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in near the. One second. Yeah, so on one side, Pooja Singhal was being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate near the airport office of Enforcement Directorate. On the other side, there was a high-level meeting which was happening here at the Secretariat of Jharkhand. We tried to ask this question to Hemant Soren also pertaining to this kind of irregularity which happened during her time period, and there was an hospital which was also being owned by her husband Abhishek Jha, following to which an inquiry was also ordered by the CM himself, but nothing was done on ground. And what we are getting to know through our sources, from the top level sources, that Pooja Singhal has now been put in under arrest. This is the information which we have got for the Times at work, senior colleagues who are working here. So now it's a big embarrassment for the government itself, because the tenure under which she was working and the manner in which she had also given these kind of mining tenders to the family members of CM Hemant Soren. It's a very important to see that what is going to be happening next, because the CM was already under radar, and the Bharatiya Janata Party had also raised this particular question during a press conference where they raised a question that why CM's membership should not be cancelled, because this also comes under the Office of Profit. And since it was being alleged that Pooja Singhal, one of the senior IAS officer who was also the mining secretary, who was also considered to be very close aide of the CM of Jharkhand, Hemant Soren himself, on whose question Hemant Soren did not reply anything when I confronted him just a short while back. And now the big thing is that what is going to be the official response from the CM himself. The cabinet meeting had just ended here. We were expecting that some sort of decision will be taken from the cabinet ministers of Jharkhand regarding this kind of questioning of a senior bureaucrat from their own government who is under the radar of the Enforcement Directorate. And time and again, they have a series of questions which is being raised on the credibility of the Jharkhand state government. So there are two things which are coming into force. One, the tenure of Pooja Singhal, which was in between 2009 to 2010, when she was posted as DC of Khuti district, which is 30 kilometers away from this location where we are standing right now. In fact, 30 kilometers from the district headquarters of Jharkhand, where there were 13 FIRs, following to which there was a clean sheet which was given by the vigilance probe, which was initiated by the then government which was in power. But the Enforcement Directorate also looked at the two vigilance inquiry complaints, which finally accounted to 16 FIR which was filed on the tenure of 2009 to 2010. That was a particular time period when Pooja Singhal was posted at the DC. While talking about why Pooja Singhal is being questioned, because one of the civil engineer, Vinod Prasad Sinha, who was then posted as a civil engineer, who was suspended, but still he was given charge of 444 developmental work which was done by the state government, instead of him being suspended from the duty. There are some ministers who are coming here. Let's go and talk to them that what is going to be the response from their side. सर, परिवर्तन निदेशालय ने पूजा सिंघल को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है, क्या कहेंगे?
मैंने हो गया बोले
जी बताएं सर।
अगर इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टर ने समुचित कारणों से उनकी गिरफ्तारी को आवश्यक माना है और इस आशय का कि सूचना ईडी के द्वारा राज्य सरकार को दी जाएगी, तो राज्य सरकार समुचित कार्रवाई करेगी।
सुदीप जी, काफी ज्यादा सीरियस एलिगेशंस लगे हैं एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट के। सीएम से भी करीबी कहा जाता है पूजा सिंघल को। माइनिंग के जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है उसको भी लेके भारतीय जनता पार्टी ईसीआई पे गई है। जेएमएम का क्या रिस्पॉन्स होगा इसमें?
करीबी तो रघुवर दास जी की भी थी, तो जांच,
लेकिन गिरफ्तारी आपके टेन्योर में हुई है।
जांच के दायरे बढ़े तो वहां तक भी जाएं, तो हाइपोथेटिकल प्रश्नों के उत्तर उचित नहीं होंगे। मेरा यह कहना है कि ईडी ने विधिसम्मत कार्रवाई की है, राज्य सरकार तक सूचना प्रेषित होगी, राज्य सरकार समुचित निर्णय लेगी।
तो क्या आप लोग जो जब गिरफ्तारी होगी है ऑफिशियल प्रोसीजर
समुचित निर्णय में बहुत तेरे मायने होते हैं। समुचित निर्णय का मतलब समुचित निर्णय होता है।
You heard, one of the MLA from the Jharkhand state government, and in fact from MLA from the JMM is also saying that overall decisions will be taken on Pooja Singhal. That means that there will be a suspension. Sir, अगर मैं आपसे अलग से बात कर सकूं, सर क्या डिसीजन रहेगा? आप लोग क्या स्टेटमेंट देना चाहेंगे जेएमएम की तरफ से ये जो अरेस्टिंग हुई है पूजा सिंघल की, और काफी एलिगेशन बीजेपी ने लगाया, इस पे बताएं सर।
बीजेपी के एलिगेशंस के जवाब आधिकारिक प्लेटफॉर्म पर देने के बजाय मैं पार्टी के प्लेटफॉर्म से देना चाहूंगा जो उनके जवाब है। मेरा स्पष्ट यह कहना है, मैंने बहुत स्पष्ट आपसे कहा कि अगर इसकी सूचना ईडी के माध्यम से राज्य सरकार को संप्रेषित होती है तो राज्य सरकार समुचित कार्रवाई करेगी।
सर काफी सीनियर अधिकारी हैं, माइनिंग के सेक्रेटरी रही हैं, उसी दौरान सीएम के परिवार से जुड़े लोगों को भी माइनिंग के जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट गए हैं, बीजेपी का एलिगेशन है, ईसीआई तक मामला पहुंचा है। आपको लगता है
2008 के मनरेगा घोटाले से संबंधित ये कार्रवाई है। मैं बार बार दोहरा कर आपसे कह रहा हूं कि जो भी ईडी के तरफ से आधिकारिक बयान और तमाम चीजें आई हैं वो मनरेगा घोटाले से संबंधित हैं। मनरेगा घोटाले की जांच को भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नैरेटिव में खान तक ले जाने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। यदि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं के पास खान से संबंधित किसी भी दर्ज शिकायत की कोई प्रति है और ये जांच अगर है तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रति लोग न बोलें, अगर ईडी के लोग बोलेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से
बात निकलेगी, दूर तक तलक जाएगी। अब ये भी बात होगा कि सीएम से भी क्या उनके लिंक है, उसके बाद में भी पूछताछ जांच के दौरान आ सकती है।
हाइपोथेटिकल प्रश्नों का उत्तर आप क्यों चाहते हैं?
हो सकता है यार,
ये तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना कि बात निकलेगी।
आप एलिगेशन लगा बीजेपी, आप बोले बीजेपी के टेन्योर में हुआ था, तो बात तो यहाँ तक भी पहुंचेगी।
बात निकलेगी तो दूर तलक जाएगी, ये बिल्कुल सही है। बात निकलेगी तो उस फाइल तक भी जाएगी जिस फाइल में 2017 में क्लीन चिट दी गई, तो बात तो निकलेगी तो वहां तक भी जाएगी। तो चलिए इंतजार करते हैं, बात निकलती है तो कहां तक जाती है।
There you heard one of the MLA from the JMM party is very clearly stating that all those actions which have been taken against Pooja Singhal has been done by the enforcement directorate. But the fact remains that the manner in which the JMM party has been, under this kind of criticism, because Pooja Singhal is said to be one of the close one. And today, Times Group SIT was also trying to dig out the detail regarding the hospital which is being owned by Pooja Singhal's husband. We found that that land on which her husband's property was built up did not had any kind of government approval, but still the land was given to this particular hospital which has been constructed over the period of time. What allegation has also been put in that this particular hospital, which is owned by Abhishek Jha, who's the husband of Pooja Singhal, has also been given as some sort of quid pro quo because Pooja Singhal was working for the government. So there are series of allegations on which, while talking about enforcement directorate, they were focusing on these 16 FIRs which has been filed over the period of 2009 to 2010, and in the year 2020, one accused who was a civil engineer, Binod Prasad Sinha, who was arrested by the enforcement directorate, and had told it to enforcement directorate that 5% of the share of all these construction work used to go to the DC office because he has not named Pooja Singhal. But while quoting about that particular time period of 2009 to 2010, Pooja Singhal was the one who was posted as the then DC of Kuti district of Jharkhand. So there are series of allegations, very important development coming out. On the very second day, the enforcement directorate had gone ahead and arrested Pooja Singhal. Abhishek Jha, who is the husband of Pooja Singhal, was questioned thrice since the last 3 days, and today he had once again appeared before the enforcement directorate with some sort of document. Probably he was also informed that the enforcement directorate will be going ahead and going ahead with the arrest of Pooja Singhal. That's why he had come here. Abhishek Jha has not been put under any kind of arrest by the enforcement directorate, but senior IAS officer Pooja Singhal, who had linked with that seizure of 19.65 crore, which was seized from one of the chartered accountants' house, has been arrested by the enforcement directorate. Back to you.
All right, stay with us. Let's take in some reactions that are coming in as well, because this is a woman who built an empire for herself over several years. A lot of money being garnered, and in her declared assets, crores worth property being declared as well. The ED also looking at several other crores tumbling out of the closet. Several political reactions coming in as well. Let's listen in.
जब खूंटी जिला में पूजा सिंघल परिवार उपायुक्त के पद पर पदस्थापित हुई तो लोगों का उम्मीद जगा था कि एक महिला डेडिकेटेड यंग लेडी आई है उपायुक्त डीसी एज ए डीसी डिप्टी कमिश्नर तो जरूर यहाँ का क्षेत्र का यहाँ के भौगोलिक संरचना को देखते हुए यहाँ के लोगों के मनोभाव के अनुसार और यहाँ के ट्राइबल कल्चर को जो गरीबी और पॉवर्टी से जूझ रहा था उस पर जरूर ये करेंगे, लेकिन ये उल्टा काम कर दिए। मनरेगा जो केंद्र सरकार के द्वारा प्रायोजित योजना है उसका इन्होंने वायलेशन किया। वो मेन पावर पर मनरेगा रूल्स में 60 और 40 है, 60% है मेन पावर पर और 40% मटेरियल में, लेकिन इन्होंने अपने स्वार्थ हित के लिए सारे मनरेगा रूल्स का वायलेशन करके ये 60% कर दिए मटेरियल में और 40% कर दिए लेबर का मेन पावर में। तो वहीं पर इन्होंने मेन पावर को क्रश किया और अपने स्वार्थ के लिए।
BJP spokesperson Mr. Praful is also on the phone line with us. Big development taking place in Jharkhand. The mining department secretary now being taken into custody.
Yeah, I totally agree, and this is in tune with our philosophy of no tolerance against corruption in high places, man. And if you look at it, she was a mining secretary since last 2 years. And the chief minister got a mine illegally allocated during her tenure. So that also is sub judice in High Court and in Election Commission of India. So they're going to take a call very shortly about whatever the misdeeds chief minister has done. We agree that enforcement directorate is an independent agency. The party has nothing to say about it. It works under the central government. Yes, but we always welcome action against corruption at high places, and this is a welcome action by the ED. And I tell you, many more heads will roll. The way ED has been questioning and the way things are coming out in media, that and his entire country are involved in a massive loot scam in Jharkhand.
Okay, but Mr. Pratul, the charge is that, this is a case that dates back to 5 years, and till now the ED or any other agency was able to do nothing only because of a political connection. So the charge is that it's not just against the JMM, but even during the BJP's rule, she continued to be in power. She was given, big posts within the government. Mr. Pratul, are you with us? Mr. Pratul, the charge is that it was not just during the JMM's rule, but even during Arjun Munda's time that she was given some plum posts. How do you respond to that charge? All right, we've lost that connection there. Going back to Priyank. Priyank, this is a charge, but the political fallout of it aside, this case dates back to 5 years, and over the last several years, she built an empire for herself. As we heard the complainant in the case speak as well, she was brought in and the hope was that she would help out the poorest of the poor, but that did not happen because she was building riches for herself.
Yeah, let me tell you, Pooja Singhal was the youngest IAS officer this country had. She was, she commissioned as an IAS officer at the age of 21. So obviously everyone had a hope that this young lady officer would be working for the upliftment of people, would be working for the developmental work. But over the period of time, she came in close contact with all these politicians and all these political individuals who were certainly in power and who were trying to gain more money because of the various project. And this is the allegation which has been made by several individuals who have put in RTI against Pooja Singhal. Now we are talking about that time period of 2009 to 2010. Also, the enforcement directorate is looking at her tenure in Palamu and other districts where she was posted at DC. We are talking about specifically of 2009 to 2010 because that is a time period when there were 13 FIRs which was filed by the local police regarding the irregularities in the fund. What used to happen that if 3.5 crore has been sanctioned for construction of a 100-bed hospital, only 53 to 50 lakh rupees was used, and when the district level inquiry committee had visited to that hospital, in a short while from now we'll be playing those ground reports which we have been keeping it for the viewers because we knew that this kind of development is going to happen. So when the district level inquiry committee used to go and revisit the site, they found that only 50 lakh was used. Henceforth, what the project was stopped. There was no further release of the money which used to happen, and that has resulted in this kind of bad state of healthcare in this district of Kooty. There were several things which was happening, like converting these public sector, public healthcare center into a community healthcare center, so that more and more people from the district could have benefit this kind of healthcare facility. But Pooja Singhal was not doing that. Instead, she had given this kind of power to her husband Abhishek Jha, who now owns a very big multi-speciality hospital very close to the RIMS, which is in Ranchi, and this is a 10th floor building. And when we investigated this case, we found that the lease agreement was not proper. You have to get permission from the government, and you have to get these lease from the government, which was not done. And without that kind of permission which was given to this hospital was built up. What locals have been alleging that this hospital later on became a unit to convert black money into white money into black money into white money, and these are the series of allegations which is not stopping here. What we are getting to know that Enforcement Directorate is going to dig out every tenure which Pooja Singhal had, because these 16 FIRs was just a tip of the iceberg. They know that there was much more which was being done wrong. But the case is not so simple here, because you just heard the JMM leader coming out and he's talking about her tenure as when the Bharatiya Janata Party was ruling in the state of Jharkhand. Now the question is that during her tenure as the Secretary of the Coal, she had given these mining licenses to family members of Hemant Soren. Just a short while back I confronted him. He was not speaking too much regarding it, and based on which the Bharatiya Janata Party had moved to the Election Commission, and yesterday itself the JMM and Hemant Soren has sought 10 more time period from the Election Commission to give the reply. So that is not going to end there. She had been influential in the past, and this time also she was giving tenders to those ministers who are in charge of the mining.
Absolutely.
And
some big charges that were leveled against her, and now that she has been taken into custody, more details also expected to tumble out. Priyank, thank you so much for joining us with that update. We're slipping into a short break here, but don't go anywhere. On the other side, Editor-in-Chief Rahul Shivshankar joins you with an explosive exclusive. Do stay with us.